Now, shifting gears to China, let's start with some good news. The Senate unanimously passed the Uyghur Forced Labor Prevention Act, which bans imports tied to slave labor in northwest China. But why did this take so long? It passed the House by a voice vote. Well, it was being blocked by Democratic Senator Ron Wyden. Now, that would be bad enough, but we also learned that Nike was also opposing this bill. Got to keep those cheap sneakers shipments coming, kids. And wouldn't you know it, Nike is Senator Wyden's biggest donor. Last September alone, Nike execs gave his campaign over $60,000. Joining me now is Tennessee Senator Bill Hagerty, who sits on the Foreign Relations Committee.
Hello.
Senator, what were these games that Wyden was playing on this? And as so many are wondering, these apparent or perhaps potential conflicts of interest.
Well, as you said, Laura, Senator Rubio has put legislation together. I joined him in co-sponsoring that legislation to prevent companies here in America from buying products that were made with forced slave labor there, the Uyghur population in Xinjiang, China. Senator Biden decides to block this. They've blocked so many other things, and what you find out is that companies in his state, and frankly, companies across America, are benefiting from this. This bill that we put forward, and I believe it will be signed by President Biden, will prevent that. It's 2021. The Trump administration at the beginning of this year named China, the Chinese Communist Party, as genocide. That's what they're conducting there on the Uyghurs in the Xinjiang region. And what we have is an opportunity to stop importation, stop the encouragement of slave labor with this legislation. It should have certainly been passed long ago, and the time has come.
Yeah, the idea that we're taking any product or any component of a product that's made by slaves around the globe.
It's incredible.
Given
in this
our
day
own
and age.
history with slavery, this should be a no-brainer. So I saw this. I said, you've got to be kidding me. But another issue out there where China wants to get its way, the 5 GOP senators that are on the screen now are trying to limit the president's authority to impose tariffs. And there's Pat Toomey in Pennsylvania. We have, who else is there? Bill Cassidy, Crapo, Mike Lee, and Ben Sass. Mike Lee breaks my heart. Doesn't surprise me about Cassidy. But this would be a huge gift to the CCP.
Yes.
So, Senator, how do we advance our interests when prominent senators still aren't seeing clearly about the threats posed by the CCP?
Well, to be clear, Laura, I'm for more oversight over this administration by the Congress. But in this case, I think you have many who felt like they should deal with China as they hope they are, rather than as they actually conduct business. I view it from the other side of it. We need leverage to deal with China. They understand strength and power. They do not play by the same set of rules that we do. They steal intellectual property, as we mentioned. They use slave labor. They deeply subsidize their industries. It's not a level playing field when it comes to China. And what we need to do is basically think back to where this all started after World War II. The United States created very favorable trading terms with many countries. We should have time limited those terms, Laura, because now we have developed economies that are like our own that have uniquely unlevel playing field with us. They have terms of trade that are far more favorable to them than to us.
Dumping products in the United States. A friend of mine in Minnesota had to spend $5 million at the World Trade Organization to fight, illegal dumping. Companies here are getting hammered by their cheap imports that they're dumping into this country. So again, this is a serious issue for the GOP to face. And they better get it right, because we're watching, okay?
Indeed.
This is one of the most important issues facing America and American manufacturing. Now, yesterday it was reported that members of the UK Parliament were told that the lab leak theory is the most likely origin. So a reporter pressed Biden on China's lack of transparency, and here's how he reacted. Watch.
800,000 coronavirus deaths. Do you have a statement on your responsibility, and why haven't you asked China to do more to be transparent on the origins? Mr. President.
He laughed and he waved. Senator, he won't take any of these tough questions, certainly not seriously.
It's amazing. I think that the Biden administration needs to wake up. Again, not dealing with things as they wish they were, but understand what China really is. They're our most strategic adversary, Laura. And they use tools and tactics that are beyond anything that we ever consider as fair here in the United States. We need to be dealing from a position of strength back to trade. I don't think we need to do any sort of unilateral disarmament take leverage off the table. We need to stand tough with China at every turn. You've been great on this, and I'm sure we
go
agree.
back to Trump policies. They worked. Senator, great to see you tonight. Thank you for holding firm on this issue.